señoras y señores, a Rick Dennison, guitarrista con gran trayectoria. Él ha estado inmerso durante 45 años en esto de estar tocando la guitarra. Es de verdad un honor, y lo digo en serio, de todas las personas que han estado aquí en el programa. De verdad a mí me llena mucho de gusto tener a Rick, porque aparte es un gran amigo y es un gran guitarrista. Tiene 45 años tocando la guitarra. Es uno de los invitados de honor del programa de wolfsector, y él será juez en el programa de Magic Fingers, la edición especial que vamos a hacer del concurso de guitarristas de diferentes partes de Latinoamérica. Y es para nosotros un honor tener aquí a Rick Dennison. Rick, welcome to the wolfsector.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Thanks for letting me be part of it.
Thank you so much, Rick. Hans, empezamos. Rick, sabemos que te apasiona tocar la guitarra. Platícale a la gente cuánto tiempo lleva tocar la guitarra como tú. ¿Cuánto tiempo tardaste tú en perfeccionar esta técnica?
Well, Rick, we know that you're a great musician, and we like to know how is the process, how much time you get in practice to do the things that you do in the guitar.
Well, like I said, I've been playing for about 45 years, and I'm a self-taught musician. And I've taught guitar and bass for a lot of years. I used to tour quite a bit. I've opened up for national, regional, and local bands. And I've always had a love and passion for music. And the thing of it is that I started 45 years ago, but I feel the same way I do now as I did back then. I still have the passion and what I want to do. And I'm always playing guitar. There's never, when I'm around, if there's a guitar there, I'm ready to play it. And the thing of it is that, it's about a give and take, as far as like when you're dealing with other musicians and you're dealing with different people. It's all about respect. It's about helping each other. It's about working with each other, and it's about respecting each other, no matter what the music is or what style it is. It takes everybody's part to make it what it is, whether it's in a band or working with other musicians. And the thing of it is that I'm always working on new music and working on my craft.
Yeah. But with the guitar, you have 45 years playing, especially with the guitar?
Yes. When I first started out, my brothers, I'm the youngest of three other brothers, and they started me out from the very beginning, and pretty much from there, I've never had guitar lessons or anything that were like that. It's just mostly I'm a self-taught musician. I have my own way of writing tab, and like I said, I've taught a lot of guitar, people guitar and bass through the years, and like I said, it's a big part of my life. It's a big part of what I do.
Okay. Dice que tiene 45 años tocando la guitarra, en efecto, que él cuando empezó, pues él viene de una familia en la que él es el más grande, entonces empezó él desde cero. Dice que nunca fue a clases de música, jamás fue a una escuela de música. Él aprendió desde cero, sobre la marcha, y dice que él empezó en bandas locales, yendo a tours, que inicialmente tocaba el bajo, la guitarra, a veces se intercalaba entre un instrumento y otro, y que pues para él siempre lo más importante es disfrutar, ¿no? Disfrutar el momento, al momento de tocar, disfrutar tu música junto con los otros artistas con los que estés tocando en vivo.
Wow, increíble. Entonces estamos hablando que él ya en los 70s probablemente ya le estaba dando a la guitarra.
You in the 70s already play guitar?
Yeah, I started playing when I was about 8.5 years old, and I'm almost 50. I'll be 54 this November 17th. So yeah, I've been playing for a long time. I mean, the thing of it is that, like I said, I love to play music, and I love the craft, and I love playing guitar. And the thing of it is that, just like with me or anybody else out there, you're influenced by a lot of people, a lot of bands. and different musicians through the years, but then you start to develop your own style and how you play. You learn from everybody. And
Sure.
I pretty much learned from the school of hard knocks because, whether you're taught from a book or you're taught, how to listen and what you play, it's the same thing when I teach. I teach people how to listen to the evenness of the notes and how when you're playing on the neck, how you can go from one position to another and how those correlate to each other. And to me, once they can figure that out and they start putting it together, it's like an aha. It's like a light bulb over the top of your head. It fills me full of joy just to see other people enjoying what they do and enjoying the fact that they're able to learn something. And it's just like a lot of musicians, or people that start out to want to be a musician, is like, I don't think I can do that. And I'm like, yes, you can. All you got to do is try. It doesn't matter how long it takes. You just work it, and that's what you do. And that's what I've been doing for almost 45 years. It's the love and the passion of playing and seeing the joy in other people's eyes.
Amazing. That's an amazing. You're an amazing artist, and you have a lot of time playing. That's fucking awesome. Thank you so much.
I appreciate it so much. Yeah, I just love music.
Yeah, so too, we are great fans of art in general.
Yes, sir.
Dice que sí, que él tiene desde entonces, ¿no? Como decías, desde los 70 tiene 45 años tocando la guitarra como músico, y que algo que me comenta es que él aprendió mucho más en la práctica que en la teoría, ¿no? Que muchas veces tú en la teoría puedes sacar muchas cosas o puedes aprender muchas cosas, pero realmente lo difícil o realmente lo complicado está en ser persistente y en trabajar tu instrumento, en practicar constantemente hasta llegar a cierto nivel.
Sí, claro. Aparte, lo que nos cuesta mucho trabajo a los guitarristas es empezar a atinarle con la plumilla. Lo que nos cuesta muchísimo trabajo a los guitarristas de repente en un principio es empezar a hacer el plumilleo alternado, y eso con el paso del tiempo se convierte en un problema porque mucha gente quiere empezar a tocar la guitarra demasiado rápido, quiere tocar como Steve Vai o como Petrucci, y a veces nosotros también, al no cumplir estas expectativas, nosotros como guitarristas nos frustramos. Les recordamos, señores, esta es una cápsula especial específicamente para guitarristas, y queremos hablar en ciertos términos. Nosotros nos estamos dando cuenta de que lo que nos está diciendo Rick es que no se necesita muchas veces estudiar 1000 años en la mejor escuela, porque muchas veces la mejor escuela está en tu casa y está en la calle con tus amigos, y más que nada ser perseverante. Muchas felicidades, Rick, por toda tu trayectoria.
You play another instrument?
Yeah, I taught bass and guitar for a lot of years, and the thing of it is that when I think about music, I think from all aspects, and when I'm thinking from all aspects is that, you just, for me as a musician and as a player, the music, when I'm playing the music that I play, it's about the dynamics and when you're telling a story with the lyric as well as you do with the music. And when you do that, whether it's on bass or guitar, you have to be able to, for me anyway, I think about how that would be played. How would that bass line would be, or how that guitar line will be, and I think from the drums and everything else. But when you're playing in a band situation, is that just like when you're talking to the other musicians, you give them the gist, but you let them put their talent to it. You let them put their dynamic to it. Because like I said, you're telling a story with the music as well as a lyric. And that's the reason why I'm such a heavy shaker on my rhythms and leads. I play in a way where it's not overdoing or underdoing. It's not about how many licks you can fit into something, but you're telling a story from the beginning, middle to the end. And that's and I know I'm going around the bend here a little bit, but the thing of it is that it all comes back to what the dynamics are on the bass, what the dynamics are on the drums, and what's going on with the guitar and how the vocals ride over top of that and how you're telling the story with that. Me, I like writing things about whether it's sci-fi or it's horror or whatever it is, or something that's really going on in the world. But I don't do it just to be heavy. I do it because you're telling the story with the music as well as the lyric.
Yeah, you really feel it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, but you play another instrument apart guitar and bass?
No, I'm pretty much just a guitarist and bass player. But like I said, I think about the whole thing. In other words, I'm not a musician. I'm speaking for myself. I'm not, I respect what anybody else does, whatever, how they do it and how they apply it. That's a wonderful thing. For me, it's about thinking about the whole song. It's thinking about how everything fits together.
Okay.
And the thing of it is that it's not a forced thing. It's that, it's just how you feel and what you're putting into those songs. But also, when you have other people in the mix, your bass player, your drummer, or if you have another guitar player, it's about them being able to incorporate their talent, their style, and what they do for those parts. And that's the reason why I say that when you're talking about other parts of the music, when you ask me like what other instruments I play, I pretty much play everything in my head. Whether it's guitar, bass, or drums, or whatever it is. But the thing of it is that I would never step on anybody's toes when it comes to the creative process. Like I said, it's about, push and pull, and it's about compromise, and it's about working those things out, but it's a team effort. It doesn't take me, it doesn't take this guy, it takes everybody's part to make it what it is.
Okay. Dice que no toca otro instrumento, que él siempre ha tocado el bajo y la guitarra, pero que respeta muchísimo a todos los otros artistas, a todos los otros artistas que tocan otros instrumentos, que respeta mucho a los bateristas, a los demás guitarristas, a los bajistas, al cantante. Me habla mucho que él le gusta mucho escribir, canciones, escribe mucho acerca de ciencia ficción y de cosas así medio locochonas,
sí.
Pero dice, yo no lo hago porque quiera sonar pesado mi música o porque quiera que mi música suene rudo, sino porque realmente yo lo siento así. Realmente yo estoy contando una historia a la gente y es mi forma de ver la música, es mi forma de ver el mundo.
De hecho, las cosas que suele postear Rick, por ahí he visto que también le gusta mucho el cine de terror. Pareciera que siempre es Halloween para el amigo Rick. También para nosotros, a nosotros nos encanta el cine de terror. ¿Tiene conectada ahorita su guitarra? ¿La tendrá conectada ahorita? ¿Nos podrá dar una pequeña muestra de todo su talento?
You can show us a little bit of your talent. Your plug your guitar, please. And
Sure.
Okay.
It's like a lot of times when I'm teaching or starting somebody out, you start with the basics. But I teach them a lot of times in box patterns. And what I mean by box patterns, just like I'm tuned down to drop D. If you're playing in a key, okay, and you're saying like the key of A, or if you're like, there's a thousand ways to Sunday to play something there. It's the same thing if you're playing a D.
Awesome.
It's finding those notes and how it's played. And the thing of it is, some of my favorite musicians in the world are all self-taught musicians. They all
are what?
Are all self-taught musicians. In other words, there was no book, there was nothing that they went by, but you learn your instrument, but it's endless. It's endless what you can learn, it's endless what you can do on this instrument. It's the same thing like when you're playing on a piano. It's those notes and how you put them together. In other words, it's the same thing. It's the same thing if I play It's all in how you play it, how you interpret it. And for me, I'm a heavy shaker. In other words, when I do a phrase line or whatever it is, I grew up on everything. Like I said, I'm the youngest of three older brothers. I grew up on the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, you name it. And believe it or not, my favorite music is 50s and 60s as far as listening and where it all
50s?
50s and 60s, the doo-wop bands
Awesome.
to rockabilly, to everything, because for me, that's where it all started. It's all about the groove. It's all about what you're trying to say with the music. And that's what really started me off. Everybody always says the Beatles and things like that. That's the way it was for me. But the thing of it is that just like today, I mean, that's the reason why I go from a lot of different extremes of music, is because I was influenced by everybody. I was influenced about bands today as well as in the past. And the thing of it is that you never stop learning and you never stop doing. And me as a musician that's self-taught, like I said, the musicians that I look up to, and even the ones that are very book knowledge and everything else, and I respect that, because it doesn't matter where you get it from. It's about how you feel about it, how you love it, how you care about it, whatever you want to do with it, whether you want to play in your room or you want to play gigs or you want to open up for nationals or whatever you want to do. If you want to record, you want to put an album out. The thing of it is that that's a personal thing. And it's a personal thing with your brothers and sisters that you're playing in that band or you're playing in that group. Because like I said, I can't emphasize that enough. It takes everybody's part to make it what it is. You know, it's like I said, even when I'm teaching somebody, a lot of times go, well, I'm going to start telling the blues. When you start out on the blues, you're starting with a groove. It's not so much if you don't dig the blues. I love the blues. It's all about that groove and getting that feeling of what you're playing. Then you can apply it to everything else. And that's what makes it beautiful. It's the same thing, like I said, when you're starting out in a box pattern, if you're going, okay, like I said, there's 1,000 ways a Sunday to play in that area. In other words, you can apply this in any key, in any part of this guitar. And that's what I try to emphasize to people that are starting and people I've taught, is that you don't have to worry about that. Just listen and just experiment. I'll give you the tools. All you have to do is just work with it and do the best you can and have fun with it. Because that's what it's all about. No matter where you go or how high you've gone or wherever you're at, it's about having fun and enjoying what you do.
Sure. That's the only true, feeling. If you don't love what you do, have no sense, right?
It's just, it's just, the thing of it is it's about enjoying what you do, and whether you just want to do it in your room as far as playing, or if you want to get out here and, like I said, be in a band or whatever you're doing, it's just taking the time. Even if it's 15 minutes, a half hour a day, just take your time, and I'm the kind of person, when I teach, and when I used to teach a lot, is that you take your time. It doesn't matter how long it takes. Because the thing of it is that everybody will learn differently, and everybody will achieve differently. And everybody has their own style at some point and how they play. And to me, that is the most wonderful thing about music, because I've never had an attitude about it. I've never had an attitude about look at me, look at me. It's about everybody. It's about everything that you do, It's about feeling it. And like I said, some of my favorite players in the world, whether they're book taught or they're self-taught, and they start learning the book side of it. That's a wonderful thing. There is no wrong way. That's the biggest thing. There is no wrong way, because you wouldn't have from your Led Zeppelins to your Arch Enemies or your Black Sabbaths to your Crypta or to Nervosa. I mean, all these bands, all these different groups, is that when you listen to them, you're like, I know exactly who that is. And to me, that's what's important. Okay. Is that it doesn't matter what you do, It's about the intent of what you're doing and how you treat other people and how you treat each other and what you're trying to put out there. And if it's personal and you love it, that's all that matters. No matter what style, what you do, that's what matters.
Bueno, básicamente dice que él cree que no hay una mala manera de cómo empezar a tocar, sino que más bien, como decía anteriormente, todo se trata del amor, de la pasión, de la persistencia que tú tengas sobre tu instrumento, el amor que le tengas a tu instrumento. Dice que no importa si tú quieres tocar solamente en tu casa o sacar álbumes o salir a una gira nacional o mundial. Realmente no es una manera, no hay una mala manera de cómo empezar a tocar, ¿no? Uh-huh. Y que todo se trata de persistencia, de amor, de cariño, y también de que todos, bueno, una cosa que él dice es que él como maestro cree que todos tenemos un diferente tiempo para empezar a evolucionar. Es decir, no todos funcionamos de la misma manera, claro. No todos aprendemos de la misma manera.
Todos tenemos un tiempo.
Y hay unos que... Exacto, sí. Hay unos que tardan más, hay otros que tardan menos, pero que lo importante aquí es que no te desesperes y que sigas en tu camino, ¿no? Persistiendo, trabajando hasta conseguir un resultado favorable. También me comenta que él es gran fanático de la música de los 50, de los 60, porque también fue una época que de alguna manera él le tocó, y dice que él es que la mayoría de sus músicos favoritos no son músicos así súper mega técnicos, sino que son músicos más de feeling. Okay. Son músicos más que empezaron tocando desde cero, ¿no? Con el corazón. Sí. Dice que él es muy fanático del rockabilly, dice que él es muy fanático de Beatles, y que sí, que esas son sus influencias más grandes, que inclusive a día de hoy sigue influenciado por esas bandas, pero también al mismo tiempo sigue actualizándose y sigue escuchando nuevas cosas. También ¿qué? habla de que también las nuevas generaciones realmente no importa tanto si tú empezaste con los Beatles como él, o si tú empezaste con Led Zeppelin, o si tú empezaste con Arch Enemy, con Crypta, o con Nervosa. Realmente lo que importa es que ames tu instrumento y aprendas cada día y que mejores.
Porque déjame decirte que es fanático de Nervosa. No sé si tenga alguna conexión con las chicas, pero es súper fanático de Nervosa. Yo he visto que sube mucho cosas de Nervosa. Yes, Rick. I like it. You wonderful. Okay.
You as well.
¿Quién es su más grande influencia?
Okay, Rick. This is an interesting question for you.
Okay.
Which band or artist are the most greatest for you? Which are your favorites?
Well, that's kind of a tough question because I love so many different people. But when I first started out, like I said, the groove players and stuff, B.B. King.
Oh,
B.B. King to me, as far as how he plays his notes.
El maestro.
Exactly. The thing of it is that one thing that I thought was so cool when I first heard B.B. King was how he raked his notes. And what I mean by that is like when you go... I always liked how he would rake. And that bending feeling, and he was kind of a trill player. And what I mean is like, wah! And I love him. I loved his playing, and I loved what he did. Because he was such an influence. And like I said before, no matter if it was B.B. King or Little Richard playing on a piano or whoever it is, even back in the doo-wop days in the 50s and everything, it's all about that intent and groove. What's being played, how it's being played. But the thing of it is that everybody took that into their own spectrum, their own way of playing. And that's the reason why you have the bands you have today. Whether it's in a jazz influence, a blues influence, a rock influence, And that's something that I've always tried to do teaching-wise. But one of my other favorite guitar players is Angus Young. Love Angus Young for AC/DC.
Yeah.
That is a guy right there that can play the blues. He just pulls it out of the air, and whether it's like a Stevie Ray Vaughan or it's Angus Young, you can listen how they play those notes because they tell a story with those notes. It's not just playing rhythms. To me, believe it or not, I wanted to be the best rhythm player I can be. It's not about, like I said, it's not about how many notes I can do. It's about that rhythm and what you're trying to say with those notes. Like I said, whether it's fictional or if it's something real or something like a horror story, whatever you're trying to say with your music, no matter what it is, you're telling a story with it. So some of my favorite guitar players in the world knew how to tell that story. And that's the reason why they're so vital to everybody. You know, because the thing of it is that not only do everybody else love what they do, they're still around. They're still playing. And the thing of it is that that's a testament to those bands. And like I said, whether you're a local band or a national band, it doesn't matter. If you're doing what you love and you have the people out there that you really look up to, and that could be a regional or national or local band, that will inspire young musicians and other musicians to want to do better, to want to learn. And to me, that's what keeps the whole cycle going. But like I said, B.B. King, Angus Young, and believe it or not, I mean, I love everything from, like I said, from the Beatles, the 1950 music, to the Arch Enemy, and everything else. And that's the way I play. You know, I don't try to play a certain way. I play what I feel. And I play what I feel, especially in a band situation. I play what we all feel. Whoever brings the music to the table, it doesn't matter, because it becomes everybody's part, and everybody's part of what's going on. So yeah, those are the two biggest, believe it or not, those are the two biggest influences in my playing. There's a lot more, but Angus Young and B.B. King.
Great. Dice que él es, pues que básicamente sus dos ídolos o sus dos más grandes ídolos de la guitarra es B.B. King y Angus Young de AC/DC. Dice que de B.B. King una cosa que a él le fascina mucho es que todo lo que tocaba lo tocaba con el corazón. Todo lo que ese señor hacía lo hacía con el alma. Y es lo que dice, ¿no? Que sí. Dice que él realmente no importa cuántas notas toque o aquí, sino que lo que importa es cómo las transmita, ¿no? Es como contar una historia a la gente que está escuchando la música. Sí, es contar una historia de amor a la música.
Qué interesante, eso habla demasiado bien de Rick. En este programa no queremos...
Otra cosa que también comentaba hace rato, dice que una de las cosas que él le recomienda a la gente que está empezando o que quiere empezar a tocar guitarra es tocar blues, música blues, porque dice que de ahí viene todo. Dice que de ahí es de donde saca uno el corazón, la inspiración para poder desarrollar otras técnicas. O sea, pero que una base muy muy fundamental que él enseña es el blues.
De hecho, la escala más famosa, más utilizada en el metal es la escala de blues. Y uno de los más grandes de la historia del blues fue B.B. King, con su famosa canción Thrill Is Gone. Los bendings increíbles que hacía B.B. King era a veces escucharlo tocar, aunque hiciera 3 bendings nada más en toda la canción, con eso te pagabas el boleto del concierto. ¿Llegó a escuchar alguna vez B.B. King él en vivo? Sería interesante platicar eso.
Okay, Rick, you have the honor to listen B.B. King live. You can watch.
No, I wish I could have been able to do that, but most of my experience with B.B. King, and really is the experience with B.B. King, is whether with recordings or watching videos on YouTube or something like that. But the thing of it is, it just hit me a certain way, the way he plays. Because believe it or not, a lot of times when you look at B.B. King, you think about just the leads and the licks that he hit, but he was an excellent rhythm player. Some people may disagree with that, but the thing of it is that he had that jazz, not only the blues, but he had that jazz influence that transcended. That's what made B.B. King who he is that he took these different styles and he made it his own. And that's to me is what really pushes and really goes past the bounds of that you have to play this a certain way. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as having to play something a certain way, because you wouldn't have your Eddie Van Halens, you wouldn't have your George Lynch's, you wouldn't have your B.B. Kings, you wouldn't have any of these guys if they weren't innovators in what they did. And the thing of it is that whether a guitar player wants to play just like one of their heroes or they want to break out of that, I think it's a beautiful thing, because that's part of their experience. You know, I mean, it doesn't matter where you come from or what you do. It's about how you feel about it. What do you want to do with it? You know, and it's the same thing that I feel with the guys that played School of Hard Knocks, like your B.B. Kings and your Angus Youngs and all these different guitar players that are out here, and even vocalists, drummers, bass players. When you're listening to a song, what are you listening to? Are you listening for this part or that part or the whole thing? But that's what's beautiful about music, is that you pick those things. You can pick those artists. You can pick this point. There may be a song with all of a sudden in the middle, this is your part. And that's because of the way you feel about it and who you're listening to. You know, and that's the reason why I appreciate all of it, is because I did grow up with that. And I'm speaking from my perspective, you know, and how I feel about it. I would never tell anybody else how to feel about something, because that's a personal thing. It's the same thing when I teach. It's that you take this wherever you want to go, learn it, but run with it. You know, take the time, listen to the people that you listen to that are playing.
That's so true. Dice que no tuvo el placer de ver a B.B. King en vivo, que todo lo que él sabe o conoce de B.B. King pues es de lo que hay, ¿no? De lo que dejó su legado como artista. Él comenta que una cosa con la que mucha gente está en desacuerdo, pero que él es un punto que defiende constantemente, es que B.B. King era un artista que tenía mucha influencia de jazz.
Sí, de hecho sí. Que
B.B. King era un artista que podía agarrar otras cosas y hacer las suyas, ¿no? Y es lo que dice también acerca de la música que él toca, que tú puedes agarrar muchas cosas, muchos elementos de otros artistas, inclusive de otros estilos, y hacerlos tuyos, hacerlos propios, para poder desarrollar tu propia técnica, tu propio lenguaje como artista. Y esto también lo podemos nosotros tomar, atención guitarristas, atención concursantes del concurso Magic Fingers, vamos a empezar a tomar nota de alguien que realmente le sabe a esto, y yo concuerdo mucho con lo que dice Rick. Es importante empezar con influencias, pero también es importante empezar a tener una personalidad en cuanto a lo que estás tocando, porque al final eso es lo que te da el día de mañana, o lo que te convierte en una figura. Realmente no estaría yo en posición de emitir una recomendación de tanto peso como las de Rick, pero con base a mi experiencia y a lo poco que sé de la música, y al menos a lo que me gusta a mí, son bandas y son músicos que tienen demasiada personalidad, como Eric Johnson, como Carlos Santana. Pregúntale si conoce a Carlos Santana. Yo creo que sí, es mundialmente famoso Carlos Santana. You know Carlos Santana?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you know, the thing of it is about Carlos Santana is, as you see through the years, everybody wants to play with him. Everybody, you have a lot of different artists that have him come play on their album as well as they play on his album. That's because he was an innovator. You know, his playing and his style has shown what music can be, and also what music, the feel, the emotion of what he's being played. You know, it makes all the difference in the world with somebody like Carlos Santana or any musician we're speaking of, is that they put their stamp on whatever they play, and you know who that is. In other words, as soon as you turn on that radio, you're like, that's Carlos Santana. Or if you have somebody else that is influenced by them, they'll take a piece of that. And that's what every musician does, is they take a piece of everything that they love and everything that they listen to, and they put it together. And that's what becomes either their own style, like I said, whether they're trying to play just like that musician or an artist, or they're trying to do their own thing and figure it out for themselves. But all that is a development. You don't force that. It's a development in what you do.
Yeah.
And I would be the first one to say, yeah, I'm influenced by a lot of different players, a lot of different musicians, but not just guitar players, vocalists, drummers, because how they apply what they do is what makes all the difference in the music and the songs. It doesn't have to be complicated to be great.
Yeah.
Totally
agree.
Whether it's the Rolling Stones or it's the Beatles or it's any band that you love today, it doesn't matter how many licks or how few or whatever you're trying to say with that story. I respect all of it because it's their personal journey, and plus I love that. I love listening to it. You know, whether you're a jazz person, a rock person, or a rock person, it all comes together. You pull from other, whether you realize it or not. Everybody pulls from everything, and that's what makes it beautiful.
Ok. Dice que por supuesto que conoce a Carlos Santana, es un gran fanático de Carlos Santana también. Dice que algo muy bonito de Carlos Santana es que muchos artistas, muchísimos quieren tocar con Carlos Santana. O sea, a veces incluso se salen de sus grabaciones, de sus propios álbumes para irse a una de Carlos Santana. Y dice, eso es porque es un innovador. Carlos Santana es un innovador, es una persona que innovó cómo tocar el rock, cómo hacer la música. Y sí, básicamente dice que él es un gran admirador también de Carlos Santana, y que él es un creyente total de que tú puedes agarrar lo que decía antes, tú puedes agarrar diferentes estilos, diferentes técnicas, y que ni siquiera importa si es si tú tocas guitarra, no necesariamente tienes que agarrar cosas de guitarristas, puedes agarrar cosas de artistas en general, no importa si sean bateristas, bajistas, vocalistas, etc., sino realmente es como una retroalimentación de un todo y hacerlo tuyo. Y otra cosa que también comentaba y que estoy muy de acuerdo con él, es que a veces, muchas veces no necesitas ser técnico o ser muy virtuoso para ser genial o para ser magnífico, sino que hay bandas clásicas que no necesitan nada de eso y te transmiten muchísimo.
Claro, de hecho el propósito de Magic Fingers, del concurso que está apadrinando el maestro Rick, es precisamente jugar con la creatividad, más no con la velocidad. Dile que nosotros como requisito estamos pidiendo en este concurso que los guitarristas sean más creativos y menos rápidos, porque muchas veces como guitarrista siempre quieres estar tocando super fast y te olvidas muchas veces de jugar con las progresiones armónicas, y nosotros lo que queremos hacer y transmitirles a los chicos que van a concursar en este evento que está padrísimo es que utilicen su creatividad. ¿Qué opina él de eso de un guitarrista? ¿Qué tan importante es la creatividad? ¿Y qué consejo les da a los chavos que van a participar en Magic Fingers para que utilicen más que la velocidad y la técnica, que utilicen la creatividad?
Okay, Ray, we actually here in wolfsector, with this new project, with this challenge of riffs, of Magic Fingers, we are telling or asking to the the guitarist, the players, then don't obsess it with the speed, with playing
Right.
fast or technical. It's all about creativity. It's all about mind. What do you think, or what advice can you give them to the players of this challenge about creativity and about technique?
Well, the first thing I want to say, Enrico, is also you, Lobo. And like I said, I thank you so much for wanting me to be a part of this. Is because it's not about speed. It's not about how many licks you can do. If you can, that's great. If not, that's okay too. Because the thing about it's about your style and what you're playing, and what the intent is of what you're putting out there. And the thing of it is that for me, and like I said, me and you guys giving me the honor of being able to do this with you, is that when I listen to these players and what they do, it doesn't matter what style, it doesn't matter what genre, it doesn't matter, how fast or how slow or melodic or whatever is being played. Heavy to me, and when people say heavy, it could be something beautiful and clean. It could be something that's distorted. It could be something that's fast. It could be anything. It's all in how you look at it. And like I said, I grew up, and my music pattern is from the 50s all the way up to now, even before then, with a lot of the great players. And the thing of it is that there's no right way and there's no wrong way. And the thing of it is, it's the way of how you feel and what you're listening to. And I'm the kind of person that will look at something or listen to something and not criticize it or look at it like, well, I can do that better. That's not what it's about. It's about respecting and knowing that those people put their heart and soul into it, or even if they're doing it for fun. That's a beautiful thing too, because it's all about that release. It's about what you do. And that's the reason why I said I'm really thankful that you want me to be part of this. And I will do the best job I can for you. And
it's our honor.
Yeah, well, it's my honor. It's my honor. And the thing of it is that, I'm, like I said, I've never had an attitude about playing or trying to say I'm better than this guy or I'm better than this gal. It's not about that, man. It's about what you do as a person. If you dig it, great. If not, that's okay too. Tell somebody else, they may. That's the way my philosophy's always been, is that if you dig something I do, great. If not, that's okay. That's all about the process. In other words, that's the reason why I'm so thankful I grew up with a father and a mother and brothers that I was able to cross over those different genres. And that's how I play. And I learn something new every day. And everything, just like when you watch my videos, and that's how Lobo was listening to what I was doing, and as well as yourself, is that everything I show, I play. I'm not doing anything that I don't use myself, because like I said, there's 50,000 ways a Sunday to play in this box. It's just like when you play stretch patterns, or you're playing like your fingers completely stretched. A lot of things you can do in that box pattern, but also you can do all those other things, because there's no right way and there's no wrong way. And that's something I try to stress wholeheartedly to other musicians, as far as like when I'm teaching them to want to be musicians, is that you learn this, but you take it where you want to go. And to me, that is the most important thing. It's not about, no, that's not how you should play that. It's about, you're in the key, you're in with what you're playing, you're learning it right, you're doing great, but now see what else you can do with it. And that's all about teaching, and that's all about listening, because it's not about do it this way. It's about where can you take this if you want to, and if not, that's okay too.
Great, that's great words, and we have really excited. We are really excited about you.
I am as well.
Be the judge. Bueno, él dice que está muy honrado antes que nada, antes de cualquier cosa, de participar en este evento, de ser parte de este evento.
Nosotros más estamos muy contentos de que Rick, welcome to the wolfsector. Nosotros estamos muy emocionados de que esté aquí. ¿Qué más dice mi querido Rick?
Sí, que como dices, ¿no? Realmente él igual piensa que no todo significa técnica, que no todo eso significa velocidad, no todo es acerca de ego, ¿no? Sino que es una cuestión más de creatividad y de pasión por el arte y por lo que tú haces. Dice que él trata de cada día aprender algo nuevo, de cada día aprender cosas nuevas y de mejorar día a día, ¿no? Y que él creció en una familia y en un tiempo en el que se escuchaban muchas cosas en su casa, se escuchaban muchas cosas en todos lados, y fue agarrando lo que le gustaba y fue haciendo y desarrollando su propio estilo.
Ok, bueno, pues ya estamos entrando a la recta final, no queremos abusar también mucho del tiempo de Rick. Le agradecemos mucho que esté acompañándonos en wolfsector. Yo estuve platicando con él y él de su voluntad ha nacido a estarnos acompañando en este proceso, y no nada más en el concurso, sino ya nosotros queríamos hacer cápsulas para que él diera técnicas y trucos, estrategias para los guitarristas que están empezando. Él ha aceptado y le agradecemos mucho. Nos gustaría despedirnos, pero no sin antes pedirle que nos dé una pequeña muestra de su talento, si es que se puede rifar un solo para que lo vean los chicos, lo que son los 45 años de experiencia. Sería un honor para wolfsector.
Well, Rick, we are in the final chapter of the program, of the podcast. We really appreciate that you've been here with us. And actually, we have a little wish, a little thing that we like to do. If you can play a solo for all the players that is watching us.
Sure.
Amazing. Amazing. You're a fucking crack, man.
El maestro es el maestro tocando, y la verdad vemos una técnica que no nada más, yo repito, y fíjense qué interesante es lo vesnos. Escuchamos una técnica old school, escuchamos, de verdad es que sí se está notando todo lo que uno está platicando, y la velocidad pues es increíble.
De hecho a mí me suena un poco de Dimebag Darrell, su estilo.
No, y de hecho trae toda la onda, porque lo que pasa es que él toca la vieja escuela. De hecho, él tiene un video que subió a su perfil de Facebook, en donde está tocando la de Painkiller de Judas Priest. Y lo hace de una forma tan natural y tan increíble que yo cuando lo escuché, cuando lo vi en Facebook, dije, no manches, este maestro tiene que estar en wolfsector, tiene que ser parte del equipo, porque en wolfsector están los mejores. Muchas felicidades, Rick. Dinos únicamente tres consejos que les das a los guitarristas que forman parte de Magic Fingers.
Okay, Rick, give us three advices, 3 things that you can say to the people that is participating in this event, in this challenge.
Well, the first thing is just have fun. Have fun. Put up your videos or how you want to play and your style and what you do. And whether it's playing fast or playing slow or whatever it is, it's about putting your talent and your style and what you want to play. And the thing of it is that just it's really hard to explain. It's just, the thing of it is that it's just taking the time to play how you play. In other words, play like you play. Take it wherever you want to go with it, man, and just show your talent. Show what you do as a musician. Show what you do as an artist. And the thing of it is that, and number two would be just like I said, be yourself. Do what you do. Don't try to look at it as a competition. Look at it as just putting your style in what you play out there. It's the same thing when I listen to these songs, or I listen to your guitar, or whatever is being played. It's not anybody's better or anybody's worse. It's just a different style and a different way of interpreting and putting that music out there, or putting that guitar work out there. It's the same thing, like I was saying, as far as me as a player. You know, it's not about how many licks you can play, which is fine. To me, that's practice for me. I'm just speaking for myself on that. For me, it's about practice and then how you apply it. And it's the same thing with number three, with the guitar players. It's just put yourself out there. Just go ahead and show what you do as a musician, what you do with your talent, and how you feel about it. In other words, you know, even though I'm listening to these things, I'm going to be very, very not critical. It's not going to be critical. It's going to be where I listen to what you play. And believe me, I'll probably love everything that everybody's playing, and I will. But just like I said, you know, with what you have going on here, I will do the best I can to pick and do what's right for the podcast, for the show, but also for those artists. And it's nothing reflecting bad on them or anything else, because I don't compare myself to anybody else. I don't put anybody else down about what they play, and I respect them 150%.
Amazing.
It's personal. It's personal.
Absolutely. Dice que, bueno, número uno, que se diviertan haciéndolo. O sea, que el amar lo que haces es fundamental.
Claro, olvídense de la guerra.
Número uno, que se diviertan.
Olvídense de la guerra de egos, señores. Yo ya les dije en este programa, no estamos criticando al más veloz, ni al más guapo, ni al más billetudo, ni o sea, nada. Aquí se está calificando creatividad, señores. Diviértanse, háganlo con el corazón. Recuerden que la música siempre nace, como lo dice Rick, a través del sentimiento más hermoso que tenemos los seres humanos, que nace del corazón. Lo decía B.B. King, Blues is a feeling. Diviértanse, señores, eso es parte muy importante. Segundo,
que sean ellos mismos, que no traten de copiar, que no traten de imitar a nadie más, que sean ellos mismos, que sean creativos y hagan cosas que viene de ellos, ¿no? O sea, que no quieran imitar a nadie más, sino que sea algo totalmente personal. Dice que la música y el arte es algo muy personal. Y número 3, que muestren lo que tienen, que dediquen el tiempo que sea necesario y que le echen todas las ganas a mejorar, porque eso los va a ayudar, inclusive más que el podcast y más que a nosotros, a ellos mismos es a los que los va a ayudar el trabajar, el desarrollar su técnica o sus riffs, ¿no? Su creatividad.
¿Qué más quieren, muchachos? Palabras de un maestro. Una sencillez absoluta. A Rick no se le está pagando un solo peso, nos está regalando todos sus conocimientos. Señores, aprovechen, por favor. Esto es un ejemplo para todos aquellos guitarristas que siempre están luchando con el ego. Lo voy a decir porque realmente es así. Le pedimos de favor a Toño Ruiz que participara en el evento. Nos dijo que no tenía tiempo, que estaba muy ocupado. Aquí tenemos a un señor que tiene 45 años, señores. 45 años tocando y nos está dedicando todo el tiempo del mundo sin que se le esté pagando un solo peso. Señores, tenemos que aprender mucho de Rick. Le agradecemos mucho que esté en wolfsector. Vamos a entrar a la ronda final y vamos a entrar a lo que un poquito, vamos a cambiar un poquito de giro. y súper rápido porque ya está acabando el tiempo. Sabemos que le gusta mucho las películas a Rick, que nos platique cuáles son sus películas favoritas y qué cine le gusta. Por ahí atrás vemos que tiene una playera de, de cuentos de Ultratumba, Tales of
the Crypt.
Tales of the Crypt. Disculpen mi inglés, yo soy como el Peña Nieto, por eso traigo aquí a mi carnal que me está traduciendo. Pregúntale qué películas le laten al maestro Rick.
Okay, Rick, just for finally, we know that you are a great fan of movies and of horror movies.
Yes, sir.
And actually, we can saw then behind you is a shirt of Tales of the Crypt of Stephen King.
I'm a big fan of the Tales of the Crypt.
Yo también. Nosotros también.
You probably see Svengoolie over here. You know, I think that guy's awesome. In fact, my daughter is the one that bought me that T-shirt, and she didn't tell me she got it. And but on a Saturday night here, they play different movies and stuff like that. They play a movie for the night. Even a lot of times when it's old cheesy, horror movies and stuff like that. I love that stuff, man. I mean, I think it's cool, and but I like I said, man, I write from a lot of different angles, whether it's from a horror side or it's like I wrote a song with the guys that I used to play with called Ripper. And that's more lines about telling a story about Jack the Ripper from his point of view. And even though that sounds messed up, I mean, you're telling a story from beginning to middle to the end. And that's the reason why, especially with horror, or like I said, whether it's something that's real going on or whatever it is, you're telling a story with the lyric as well as the music. No matter what you do, you're telling it with everything. And like I said, the way I play, it's more like a character. It's not just playing the notes. It's making that character come alive with the vocal, the bass, the drums, and the guitar. And I think that's what really matters to me,
And which films are your favorites?
Oh,
if you can tell us maybe five movies of horror. Which are your favorites?
Hellraiser. If you go on my
Number
page,
one.
you know Hellraiser. Yeah.
Okay.
Halloween, of course. The Freddy Krueger movies.
Oh, yeah.
Even some of the ones that weren't as great as but I still love them, man. Leprechaun. Leprechaun's always a cool movie. But believe it or not, I could put them all together on this one. Is the old Frankenstein, Dracula, Mummy. I love all the films back in the 30s and the 40s.
All the classics. Nosferatu,
Lon
Dracula.
Chaney, Lon Chaney and all those guys, man. I mean, to me, that was. I know I keep going in the past, but to me, that's what innovated everybody for today.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's the same thing I said about music. It's about what innovated it today. It's the same. It's just like I said in the song that I have called Ripper. You got something going where you're going. It's just, and like I said, if you're telling the song with not only with the music, and like I said, it's not to be heavy, just be heavy sake. For me, it's about telling the story. It's like rest up, be total way life. Let my brain is right to the core.
It's only one thought that comes to mind. Yes, the magic, yes, the hush, and hush, yeah.
But I mean, you're emphasizing the lyric with the music, and like I said, that's the way. And like I said, I'm a heavy shaker, and I'm a very melodic or heavy shaker on the leads. I'm a heavy bender. But the thing of it is that it's not about how many riffs or how many things you can fit into something. It's about telling the story, beginning, middle, and end for me as a player.
That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. Dice que, bueno, de sus películas dice que es fanático de Hellraiser, Halloween, las de Freddy Krueger dice que todas le encantan, dice que todas le gustan, le encantan, y dice que también Leprechaun, o bueno, aquí la conocemos algunos como el Duende Maldito, también dice que es una de sus favoritas.
Yo estoy...
Sí, y dice que también, bueno, dice que eso lo aplica a su música, que su música está completamente influenciada también por eso, y todo lo que él toca está hecho desde su corazón y desde lo que a él le gusta, pero desarrollando su propio estilo, su propia técnica.
Eso es algo, híjole, de verdad es una conexión increíble. Creo que tú también, para los que no sepan, Hans, la persona que está traduciendo, es Hardware Sex. Él es músico también y también transmites mucho de esas emociones con tu música. Yo también lo hago con Wolfsector 85. De hecho, utilizo específicamente samples de películas de terror para hacer mi música. Y es una conexión que tenemos todos, carnales. No necesitamos hablar incluso el mismo idioma. Yo y Rick no hablamos el mismo idioma y tenemos ya rato de conocernos. Nos llevamos súper chido. ¿Y qué es lo que nos está uniendo? Pues la música. El olvidarnos de todas estas tonterías de ver quién es más importante o quién tiene más likes. La verdad es que eso nunca ha sido una barrera entre Rick y su servidor, y estamos muy contentos de que esté en el programa. Última pregunta: ¿cuál es su comida favorita? Y si conoce algún platillo mexicano, pregúntale si le gustan los tacos al pastor, los tacos de carnitas, la barbacoa. Pregúntale si conoce esta comida típica mexicana y que nos diga su comida favorita.
Okay, Rick, the last question. What kind of food you love more, and do you like Mexican food? Do you know carnitas, tacos al pastor, barba?
Well,
Is Mexican?
I'm a taco fanatic. I make my own at home because I love them. I mean, it's just in fact, if it's just my mom when she was still alive, and my father as well, is that one of the things we love to have, whether it was Italian food or Spanish food or whatever we're having, the thing of it is that I love all that. I love all that kind of food, man. I just talked to my daughter a couple days ago, and I said, man, I would love to have some tacos right now. And she goes, yeah, I think I'm going to make some tonight. And I'm like, dang it, because she doesn't live here. And I'm like, well, I'm going to have to go out and get the stuff to make it. So, yeah, I love all kinds of food. Yeah, maybe a little too much, though. But at least I've lost about 15 pounds, so I feel pretty good about that.
That's awesome. Dice que él es un gran fanático de los tacos. De hecho, dice que hace unos días con su hija dice que vive lejos. Justamente le preguntó, oye, ¿no se te antojan unos tacos? Y él, sí, a mí también me antojaron y que fueron por unos tacos, ¿no? Pero que sí, que él es un gran fanático de la comida en general. De hecho, dice que él de niño, su mamá y su papá cocinaban todo tipo de comida, cocinaban comida española, comida italiana, y que realmente él siempre, pues nunca le dijo que no a nada.
Ok, dile que cuando venga, dile que lo vamos a invitar aquí a México y nos lo vamos a llevar a comer unos deliciosos tacos. Dile.
When you come to Mexico City, here we love to go with you to eat tacos in Mexico City, because this is
that'd be fantastic. Yeah.
yeah. This is the place to to eat tacos, and not only tacos. I mean, we have a lot of things that
Oh yeah.
I'm sure that you'll love them.
Oh, I bet you I will. I love everything, man. It just, like I said, whether if it's Spanish food or Italian food or anything like that, I'm there. You know, it's I love it. And believe it or not, I don't know how you guys, if you guys like Italian food or not, but I make a mean lasagna. So I love lasagna.
Yeah. Actually, I love make Italian food. I'm a great fan of Italian food, actually.
Okay, yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
Dice que sí, que en cuanto él pudiera, pues estaría genial, porque a él le encanta todo tipo de comida. Dice que probablemente su comida favorita sea la lasaña.
Ay, qué rico.
Y es lo que le digo, que a mí también me encanta.
Sí, es muy rica la lasaña. Rick, deseales suertes a los chicos, nos despedimos del programa, deseales mucha suerte en este concurso, eres el invitado de honor, tenemos a otros guitarristas muy talentosos, van a ser 4 jueces, está Alfredo de Obesity, que es es un chavo pues muy joven y de verdad muy talentoso. Alfredo, te mandamos un gran saludo. Tenemos a mi carnal Clor de Verde Amanecer y Nunca Digas Muere, con estos riffs super violentos que le gustan mucho a la escuela de Pantera y Dimebag Darrell. Y tenemos a otro guitarrista invitado también, un camaradaza. Tenemos a Gustavo de Lethal Creation y tenemos aquí a un personaje increíble, y es increíble de verdad que sea un personaje underground y que a veces nosotros no nos imaginamos el tipo de talentos que hay tras bambalinas, ¿no? Y estos personajes tan importantes. Gracias, Rick, por estar en wolfsector, y que les desee suerte a los chicos para que empiecen con el pie derecho su competencia.
Okay. Well, Rick, can you say goodbye to all our viewers, and can you how can I say this? You can tell us a little bit of, or compart you a little bit of your talent to our viewers.
Sure. Yeah, I want to thank you, Lobo, and I want to thank you, Hansrico, for letting me be part of this. And it's such a great honor to be able to do this with you. And I was looking very much forward to this, and it means a lot to me, and I want you to know that. And for your listeners and for people from your country as well as other countries, play music if you want to play music, and enjoy and love what you do. Whether you're starting or you're advanced, you learn from everybody. I mean, I learn from people that just start out. You know, if you listen to them, and you might find something there that you can incorporate to what you do as a musician and as a player. You learn from everybody, whether it's from jazz to rock to metal, whatever it is that just look at those influences as a stepping stone for you as a musician, and to be able to respect and understand where it's coming from. And it's the same thing that I feel about when I play. It's just not playing notes just to be playing notes. It's part of a bigger thing. It's part of taking it somewhere else that you didn't think of, or something like, oh man, look at that, I just did this, and then, well, maybe that'll be something I can use or work with on this part. But I don't try to do that. It's just that what you hear and what you feel in knowing your instrument. And the thing of it is, you never stop learning. So it's like I said.
Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Dice que es un honor nuevamente estar con nosotros, que para ser parte de este jurado, y que pues nada, que es un placer estar contigo, con Lobo y con wolfsector en general. Y para lo que le dice o lo que le tendría que decir a nuestros concursantes o nuestros a gente que nos está viendo es que vean qué es lo que les gusta y a partir de ahí empiecen a agarrar las cosas que más les gusta de sus ídolos, que tomen influencias y las hagan suyas, que eso es muy importante y que de ahí van a sacar muchas cosas que les van a dar muchos resultados.
La personalidad definitivamente crece en la medida en la que dejas de imitar y dejas de hacer precisamente esto que te está diciendo Rick, ¿no? El entrar siempre en un sistema de competencia sano siempre te va a hacer evolucionar como músico. La música es maravillosa. Gracias, Rick, nos despedimos. Esto fue una cápsula que vamos a tener con wolfsector, con Rick y wolfsector. Vamos a estar teniendo más cápsulas, vamos a estar trabajando más con Rick. Él es un invitado especial del programa. Él ha accedido a hacer cápsulas pequeñas para darles tips a los guitarristas en diferentes técnicas. Las vamos a ir desmenuzando a lo largo de la temporada. Y pues nada, gracias y pues ya saben, sigan siendo parte de la jauría. Gracias, Rick. Thank you, Rick, so much. Welcome to the wolfsector.
Well, thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Gracias, hermanito.
I will do the best. I will do the best I can for all of you and for all the musicians that are going to be part of this. And I thank you so much.
Dice que va a hacer lo mejor que puede para este proyecto y muchas gracias.
Muchas gracias. Bueno, pues nos despedimos. Dile que nos despedimos, maestro. Hasta luego. Hasta la próxima.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
See
the
you
honor.
soon.